Hello, my name is Sarah Myers. This video is for the course AEP 895, Analysis of Curriculum and Instruction for Exceptional and Diverse Learners Portfolio. In the video, I'll be discussing the growth, performance, and strategies I plan to implement, all of these things that I have gained from the courses that I have taken for the graduate degree program. The artifacts demonstrating my proficiency in the program, the evolving changes in today's classroom, the design and evaluate curriculum aligned with standards. Artifact, I used the lesson plan that I had created for the book Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. In this course, I learned a lot about the ISTE standards. This is something that I was not previously familiar with. The ISTE standards are a framework that educators use to help guide their instruction, and it's also for students to make sure that they are following and that it's equitable for their learning experiences. This is something that's been implemented throughout the United States, and many countries also utilize that. I learned a lot about online technology use for students. I learned about Google Forms and how to use those in your instruction, how students use that. Lots of teachers use that, the Google Forms, Google Documents, to help students to turn in their assignments. My own child uses it in her school, so I've been learning a lot about that over the last couple of years. Lots of areas of growth, like I just mentioned, how to utilize the Google in your curriculum and making it the easy way for students to turn in their assignments. I submitted the core phonics assessment for one of my artifacts. On that one, when taking that reading course, I learned a lot about new reading screeners to use that I've already been using since taking that, which has been nice to use something different than what I've always been used to using. The website that was in the textbook on that course, First School Years, has been a useful resource for creating tools when I'm teaching phonics lessons. That has been a good resource. And then I use that as in conjunction with the unit of Frankenstein that I had created. A lot of times creating or trying to find technology, digital technology for my students is challenging because most of my students don't have access to computers, technology-based things like that. My incarcerated students, they're not allowed on technology unless they're working on their assignments and their courses for graduation. But other than that, they're not allowed to use anything else. And then my private school students, it's the same way. We have limited access. We don't have iPads and things like that, so everything has to be like tangible items. But the list of digital materials that I started creating at the beginning of my degree study has been very helpful and has grown a lot. Now I've referenced that, gone back to that to find things that I can use so that I can create tangible materials and print those things off, and then I can take it with me when I go work with students. I feel like my overall performance, that area has, like I've already mentioned, with creating materials off of websites that I learned about since I've been taking all my courses has been helpful with teaching students, working with students, how I can best help them. That has been helpful. The flip videos that I watched on one of my courses on student behaviors, that was an eye-opening, and it continues to be a struggle with teaching private school teachers in the gen ed setting how to best deal with students with behaviors, and then also learning what my own triggers are as far as behaviors and how to cope in difficult situations. I liked the quote that I learned in that course: it takes a calm brain to calm another brain. Keeping a calm state of mind and body when working with an escalated student is very important. Validating the student's feelings when they have had the opportunity to decompress can help calm an agitated student. This is a strategy that I have to utilize when working with my incarcerated students, it seems, more than others. Teaching students to use this technique so that they will know how to regulate their emotions when I am not around. That is the overall goal. And then utilizing the zones of regulation more has been a goal that I've been working on with teaching students, that it's okay to have these feelings, but how do we regulate them? It would be nice to be able to attend like a professional development on things like that. That's something that has been on my list to maybe do this summer, is to learn more about that and how to implement that in like daily practice of working with students. And also with my gen ed teachers, talking with them about how it's the behavior that you object to, not the student. And then does the punishment fit the crime? Over and over again, I see that the punishment is far too excessive than what it was that the student did that got them into trouble in the first place. So that's something continuing to work on with my general education teachers, helping them to learn the best way to teach a student how to do better the next time that they're faced with similar situations. That's something really has been a struggle, because teachers, as everybody knows, everybody gets set in their ways on how to do things. But how to implement classroom expectations in a private school setting for students with behaviors is a major struggle. Those teachers, like I said, their expectations are not the same as they would be in the public school setting, and they don't have the same support system that teachers in the public school do. So that's something that I work on daily with those teachers. The strategies that I continue to implement, and like I said, hopefully attending some professional developments on how to learn even more about these strategies would be a big help. And then also the reading screenings and interventions that I have learned over all of my courses. That has been something that has been a huge help, because I work with reading goals on probably 99% of my students. I have reading goals. So I'm always looking for different ways to best help them, best support them. How can they make progress on their goals? I feel like a lot of times I'm doing the same strategies, utilizing the same materials over and over again, and the students, they get kind of tired of that. So I've learned how to use ChatGPT to come up with some better reading materials that target their instruction, and not just that, but their interest level as well. So that's been a great help. Someone showed me how to do that, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know you could put in ChatGPT that you want a short reading passage that targets like the TH sound in words, and then it creates it for you. So yeah, been just recently using that more. The social skills website that a social worker showed me, that one has been a huge help when working with my incarcerated students, as it is challenging to find appropriate social emotional curriculum for those students, as their circumstances are a lot different than your typical student. But at the same time, you'd be surprised they're having the same dilemmas that any other student is, as far as like how to appropriately get along with your peers and things like that. So even though I'm not able to show the websites to these students, those types of websites where I can go on there and get lesson plans that I can print off, read over, and take with me when I go to the facility has been helpful. So yeah, overall, everything that I have learned in all of my courses has been helpful with the evolving changes in today's classrooms. I have enjoyed all of my courses and yeah, look forward to learning even more of how I can help my students.